Today, I'm going to show you a domain that I bought for $22.19 and how that can turn into a $2,500 a month business or more. This is a very straightforward process, and I'm going to show you everything as I set this up in front of you live. So you're going to see the nitty-gritty from how I picked the domain, why I chose the domain. We're actually going to look at two domains because one of them is kind of a complicated one of them is very easy. And after the video I sent out Friday, you guys can see here, some people were asking, I don't want to do blogging, I need something simple. Isn't there something easier? A lot of people think that blogging is all about like social media, posting every day and everything like that, when in fact it's actually really simple. What we're doing is using blogging and WordPress as a content management system, not in the traditional sense of blogging. So we're going to be using this with AI and everything like that to show you exactly how it works. Now, what is it that takes a domain from $22.19 to a $2,500 a month business or even more than that? And I got to tell you, this is a process that I've been doing since around 2002, 2003. I've done this many times on my own websites, thousands of times for my clients' websites, and it works like crazy if you understand what's going on. This is about building a real business, a real asset. Whether it's something small with a couple pages or something gigantic that you're building into an enterprise, we're going to go through and talk about how this works and why. Why would a domain that someone else owned, a failed business, if you will, be worth anything to us? And the answer is actually quite important, because if we can build on something that someone else didn't know how to do properly and build it up as an asset, it's kind of like buying a business where maybe the business was good, it was getting everything, but the owner just didn't understand cash flow or didn't understand marketing or something like that. We can swoop in and get that in a very simple way. Think about it this way. Let's say my local giant big box gym went out of business and they're like, okay, well, we're out of business. We're a corporation. We couldn't make it work. However, we have a client list and all of this equipment that you can use to start a gym. Is that easier than starting from scratch? Yes. Now, in the case of the gym, that's going to be a pretty expensive acquisition. However, when it comes to the online world, a lot of people that have domain names, websites, and social media accounts, and all of these things don't understand the value of the asset. That's where we can swoop in and get these super, super cheap at auction, sometimes expired. Sometimes you can buy it as a full-on website, super cheap, because people don't understand what to do with this. As marketers, we want to understand how to build and grow these and make them a business that is worth money. So that's what we're doing today as part of our 7-day process of setting up a website, setting up a blog on a domain, and making it work. So if you're excited to see how I take a simple domain that cost me $22.19 and turn it into a business, smash that like button and let's go to work. All right, so let's dive in and talk about how this whole thing works. First of all, you can see here, this is where I bought the domain for $11, and then the fee for the transfer was $11.19, bringing it to $22.19, which is pretty cheap to start a business. Now, we also need web hosting and other stuff like that, so this isn't all we are going to put into the business. We got to get content, which we can do with AI. However, I want you to know up at the get-go, like, what does this entail? What are you getting into? Now, when we look at the reason I bought this domain name, it was a domain in the wedding invitation wedding niche. Now, wedding invitations is a gigantic market. As we talked about last week in our video, you can go through and do different research, like how big is the wedding invitation niche or something like that, and it'll tell you how big it is and how much money there is. It's huge. I had a friend years ago who had a site in this niche that did extremely well. His was more wedding favors, but he did have a wedding invitation one as well. So we could see here, like, it's a $4 billion business, a $0.8 billion business as for just wedding stationery. So pretty cool. You could see this is a very, very big business. It works really well. You're ready to rock. It's cool. Okay, a lot of money here. Now, the reason I bought this domain is because it did rank for different things related to wedding invitations. You can see here, pocket wedding invitation, beach, red, purple, and on we go. And this is very recent. This is a snapshot as of today. If we were to go back in time and look at some of the older rankings, I think we can go, let's see if we can go a year ago. I think that's about where that is. About a year ago or so, you could see that it had even more wedding invitation rankings. Now, nothing super big like a number 18. That's not like, oh my gosh, we're gonna just, set this thing up and be cranking, but it does give us a starting point, which is important. Now, you can see 2 years ago, and on we go. This domain has history back to like 2012 from what I can find, and it actually was a full business. Now, whether that business was great or whatever is kind of irrelevant. Like, we're going to build it up from scratch. So we're not going to be using any of the stuff that they had. We're going to be creating our own. It's very important to remember, when you buy a domain, you are only buying the domain. Unless you're purchasing the entire business or website, all you have is the domain. So what we're going to do is we're going to build this from the ground up as if it's our own new business. And you can see there's lots and lots of different rankings here. Really, really cool stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this, get a snapshot of what's going on, and try to build this up better than it was before. Now, we have lots of other stuff here, and you can kind of see the reason that these rank. We can see here that it has backlinks, which means other sites are pointing into it, saying, hey, check out this wedding invitation, or whatever it is. Okay, very cool. You could see it did have some keywords and things like that. Now, not a whole lot happening on the AI front, which is to be expected. This is an older domain. We need to build it up and get it ranking. Now, you can see that I've done this with other domains as well. I'll pull up another one that I have so I can show you what happens when these things get built out. This was a more expensive domain. However, it was one that I plan on using as a business. This one was $600, but I'll show you kind of what it's looking like, because this one is actually getting traffic every day, just so you could see, okay, what are we expecting here? If you were to look at this one here, if we can get it to load in here, we'll just go like that. You can see this one has 924 rankings in Google as of now, and it also has almost 1,000 visitors a month. I actually know for a fact we're getting more than 1,000 visitors a month. It is showing up in AI. In fact, I know that there's more than this. This is delayed quite a bit, and it's not super accurate. We're getting daily traffic from AI, mostly ChatGPT, some Perplexity, a lot from Google, some MSN, and everything like that. So looking at this, I think this domain, even though this one cost me about $560 plus the $20 renewal fee, or $10, let's call it $570, I think I'm ahead of the game here. Haven't started monetizing it yet because I'm turning it into a business where we create videos for people. So it's kind of a big business. I could probably make some sales, some affiliate sales of different video creators and AI tools and stuff like that. However, I'm in it for the long haul, not rushing it. This one, we're kind of going to get going a lot quicker. Now, this is a complicated one, as I'm going to show you in a minute. There's also another one we're going to look at here that ranks for all kinds of things related to outsourcing. So this is a more straightforward one. You can see it does have some rankings. It does have some backlinks. It is in the niche of outsourcing. It's very new, so there's not a whole lot to be done here. So we're going to show you the best of both worlds. Also, one of the reasons I really like this one is take a look at some of the cost per click here. This means if I was to buy this traffic, it would be like legit $7 a click. So that tells us the traffic's worth a lot. Does that mean I'm going to make $7 a click? No. The average person trying to make money online makes nothing. This is just a rule of thumb saying that's what advertisers are paying. That tells me, hey, if advertisers are paying, there's some money here, which is pretty cool. All right, so we could see, yes, this is about outsourcing. This is a much easier one. Now, what we're going to do first and foremost to make this thing work is first, our disclaimer. Obviously, I've been doing this for 25 years. I've made millions of dollars. Lots of people have made lots of money with this. However, the vast majority of people trying to make money online make nothing. We need to understand this. This is a business. We're building and growing. Are there things we can do to move things along faster? Yes. Is this something where you just, start it and all of a sudden money comes from heaven? No. We got to build this. We got to grow it. And I got to tell you, a lot of people spend time trying to find shortcuts when the actual path is shorter, right? You're like the guy sitting there, or many people are like the guy standing there at the elevator trying to get it to work when, it takes a couple of days to get that thing to work. I could be up in my room much, much faster just by taking the stairs. So this is about taking the stairs and getting some shortcuts along the way. Now, going through, when we have this domain, what we're doing is we're looking at a starting point. This is the starting point. We want to get an overview. We want to see what the domain's about. Now, before we buy these domains, obviously, we're doing research and seeing where they're at. For me, I like to use the Ahrefs keyword tool. That is the best way to look at them. You can also use Spamzilla to find domains as well. Great tool, organizes them for you. And you can look at GoDaddy auctions, Namecheap auctions, all kinds of different auctions that are out there where you can get all kinds of domains. Now, some domains might be expensive. There's one I'm looking at right now. It's at $500. It's got like a week to go. Thing's going to go pretty expensive. However, you could see here, the outsource one I got for $22 and the wedding one I got for $22. So understanding that is key. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the overview of what the domain had. I want to see what I'm getting into. First of all, domaining is a huge industry. We could see that this domain right here does have a value. I think I had it here. Has a $500 value just for that domain alone. According to Dynadot, who isn't always that accurate, it's saying it's $2,600 value. So I think I'm already ahead of the game at $20. Again, is this saying, oh my gosh, let's go sell it for this? No, not even close. We don't know. Right now it's worth $22 because that's what I paid for it. It was worth $22 to me and me alone. It might be worth nothing in the grand scheme of things. However, we're looking at data to understand how is stuff valued, right? Okay, so we look at 500 there, we see all this stuff. Also, knowing, hey, the domain industry is gigantic. There's like $500,000 a day worth of domains sold at auction, not to mention the new registrations. It's a huge industry that fairly no one talks about, right? However, we're going to have a video on this Friday or Monday. I got my buddy Joe coming up. We're going to be filming a video about how he took my domain stuff and learned how to turn it into an actual business of buying and selling domains, which is pretty cool. Now, that part aside, let's go through and let's look at how would we get the lay of the land of this domain. First of all, one of my favorite tools to use this is Manus. Manus is a beast. I have tried ChatGPT's agents. I've tried Perplexity. I've tried every AI, major AI, not everyone, but a lot of the big ones. And I haven't found anything that comes close to what Manus can do. I actually went through with Manus and I asked it to find all the historical domains or URLs on this domain, which was important because when we're building these up, we need to have those URLs intact. Otherwise, it will not pick up the rankings, okay? So what we're seeing here is it broke it down and it said we have 1,000 URLs, including product pages and blog posts. Clean URLs without extensions, we have 1,171. Technical files, these are all the ones like PHP, JavaScript, and all that stuff, which we probably won't need to build up. A lot of it was images, so we could see that this is legit, mostly images. And with the HTML pages, we're looking at about 1,071. That's where I said, like, this one's a doozy. You're going to have to build a lot of stuff. I'm going to show you some ways to get this done quicker and outsource and use AI and things like that. But what we want to do is we want to get the lay of the land of what this had. So if we look at non-image URLs, you're going to see this just keeps going and going and going and going and going. And we can see it just tons of stuff here. Now, this does have an interesting structure where I see here there was this blog area. Looks like at one point this site was a blog, as you can see here. But we're going to ignore that because this is going to be treated, all of these would be treated as one URL. Okay, I'll show you how that works in just a minute. But obviously this one here, 7 elegant lace wedding invitations. Okay, so that's where I would go through and I would make a URL for that. Do I need the and feed? I do not. Okay, so I just need like the basic ones. Pretty simple. I'm going to show you how to use AI to build this up. Now, once we do this, we could use ChatGPT. However, it didn't find that many. I think it only found like, 20 or so or something like that. That's where Manus is a beast and it knows what it's doing and it works like crazy. Now, what we're going to do first and foremost is we're going to get the vision and the expectations. We see, yes, the wedding invitation market is huge. We got Etsy. We got all kinds of things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out and say, what are some good high-paying affiliate offers in this market. And it'll go through and find affiliate offers. Again, it's our job to find out and see if they're good and what we can do with them and everything like that. It's our job to vet them. As an affiliate, you are responsible for what you promote. So all those people on social media that are promoting make money online stuff and it's just garbage, and it's really a network kind of pyramid thing, they are on the hook for that. I have seen over my years of doing this, when people do promote pyramids, they are, they're responsible for what they promote. So even if it looks good and even if you're making money and being that boss, you are responsible for what you do. Now, looking at this, we could see the good affiliate programs. We got Minted. They have up to 15%, 25%, 7%, and on we go. So looking pretty good. $29 per couple referred. I like that. That's like a lead-based one. Fixed fee lead model can be lucrative. That's going to be one I'm going to put in my back pocket. Here's another one, $19 per couple. It's kind of like web hosting, which is cool. So I'm going to put those in there. Those are going to be some really good ones I'm going to keep. So awesome stuff. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to think about what these people would want. Now let's go through and say, now thinking about this market and looking at Reddit and other sites that might have complaints and issues, can we make an outline for a unforgettable wedding invitation guide? Okay, let's do something like that. And what this will do is it'll go out there and it'll get us a guide, which is going to be our lead magnet. So we could go out there and be like, okay, here's what we're going to give away. Now, it's important that our giveaway also has affiliate offers in it. Now, super important. When we do our giveaway, we want to make sure all of our links, so here's your giveaway, right? It'll be like a PDF or something like that, okay? We have our giveaway. All of our affiliate links need to be on our domain. Why? Why wouldn't you just put a raw affiliate link? Well, because if that affiliate offer ever changes and you have like 10,000 people that downloaded your book, that's going to be a problem. So we want to make sure that we use everything needs to be on our domain, which is what we're building up, right? If we're going to build this up like a business, we need everything to go in. Like if you were going to market hamburgers and you have a hamburger restaurant, you're not going to go out there and be like, hey, I have the best hamburgers, go over there and see it, right? No, you're going to tell them, hey, we're over there. That's where our store is. This is what we're called. Go to the counter and ask for Jerry's special or whatever, right? You're going to make it something all compact. Everything's going to promote this site. This is our hub. This is our business. So now it's going through and giving us an overview of this wedding invitation guide. I'm going to go through and I'm actually going to have this build the guide, maybe make it like 20 pages or something. Wherever we can put affiliate links, where it makes sense, I'll put those in there as well. This is going to, and it even did it for us. Look at that. Boom. Nice. That's pretty cool. So now we can go through and put our affiliate links in there. Again, instead of putting our raw affiliate link, I'll put something like whatever my site is /affiliate1 or /websites or whatever. Okay, very simple stuff, but often overlooked. Vision expectations. I see this as I'm going to start with the affiliate offers. I'm going to talk about all these things. I'm going to build this up. And then later down the road, if I actually want to be a drop shipper for printable wedding stuff, I could do that. Okay, this is something, I did this years ago. Back in 1999, we started drop shipping printables. I know it's new and fancy, this whole, print on demand thing. We were doing this in 1999 with business cards. It worked like crazy. We'd do the design, send it to the people, pocket the difference. It was drop shipping at its finest. Very cool. Now, I've done this with all kinds of things. That would eventually be, like if I wanted to take this beyond $2,500 a month or more, that's what I would do. Again, right now, the site is making nothing. We're going to build it up, hopefully make it work. There are no guarantees. We don't know what it's going to make. I do see promise here, so we're going to build that out. And usually when I see this, if you build it out correctly and you don't give up, you should be able to get some kind of traffic, some kind of traction, rankings, something, okay? Then I'm going to say, how big am I going to go? So I want to get the lay of the land, the vision. All right, we could turn this into some giant wedding invitation site. I would probably also piggyback on like wedding printing, wedding hosting. A lot of people are doing digital wedding invitations, which are funny because they like literally charge you per invitation. It's just like, it's digital, it costs nothing, it's all profit. So maybe we could go that route as well and have AI build that for us. Now, on the other site for the outsourcing, I'm gonna go through, that one's really easy. It only had a few pages. We're gonna build it up and promote that and try to get affiliates for like online job sites, outsourcing AI, maybe Fiverr, different things like that, okay? So looking at these, one, we got complicated one with the big potential. The other, we have the outsourcing. Now, the outsourcing is going to pay more per sale, so I might not need that much traffic. Now, next what we're going to do is we're going to set up the shell. Once we buy the domain, if you're buying it at auction, if you buy them at Namecheap, you get instant access, like within a couple hours of winning the auction and paying for it, it's in your account. GoDaddy sometimes takes up to like 10 to 15 days, depending on the site. This one took a couple of days. It wasn't that big. As you can see here, I bought it on, I think it was, we bought it on the 3rd, or it landed on, yeah, we bought it on the 3rd, and we already have it, and it's the 6th. So pretty cool stuff. Now, once we get it in our account, it's just gonna look like this, right? And then all we do is click on it, and then we're gonna set the name servers to our web host. Now, if you don't have web hosting, you can go to gohubsite.com. I have instructions on how to do it, and then you can follow along. If you have the same web hosting as me, you can follow along. Now, that is an affiliate page, so if you go over to that page and read the instructions, there's an affiliate offer for web hosting, right? I do practice what I preach here. Next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to change name servers, and we're just gonna change the name servers to whatever our host is. I'm gonna use ns1.inmotion, right, like that. And this will be whatever yours is. So if you're like on GoDaddy hosting, it'll be like a GoDaddy hosting thing. Once we're done, we can put these here, and it should work pretty good. Let me see. Oh yeah, we gotta put 2 in there. There we go. I gotta pay attention. Trying to record and do this at the same time sometimes can be a bit daunting. But we're gonna change those name servers, and it should be pretty instant, right? So we could go through, should be able to see that there. Let's open the site. So we still have the placeholder on the site. So what a placeholder looks like. And again, some of the things are blurred out because the AI bots, you know, whatever domain or whatever they don't like, we just want to keep it clean and good. On my website over at aiprofitscoop.com, I do have all of the details on the sites and everything like that. You can go there and get them. Now, when we set up the shell, what we're going to do is we're just going to go over to our web host. And what we're doing is we're waiting for this to propagate, which should be pretty quick. We're just going to go through and just refresh it until it propagates. And let's see here. We should see it right here. Let's try it again. And it looks like it's doing something. It's usually pretty quick. Sometimes it can take up to 24 to 48 hours. It very rarely does, but it can. Okay, so now once it's doing that, it looks like it is trying to catch it. There it is. This site can't be reached. That's what we want, right? Now we're gonna go through and we're gonna go over to our web host control panel, right, like this. And I'm just gonna go to domains. Now, one of the things I like to do is I like to keep my domains separate from my host. I know a lot of web hosts will be like, oh, get the domain through us. I don't like doing that because I want to own my domain and be able to point it wherever I want. Like if I want to change hosting, like obviously on some of my sites, I've changed hosting many times. So I want to be able to have the control to do that. And sometimes the hosting services will overcharge you for them, the domains. Like, oh, hey, now that you have the domain, it's like $30 a year to register. I don't want to do that. I'm going to keep them at GoDaddy or wherever I bought them. Okay, and it's faster. So we're going to go ahead and add this as an add-on domain. We'll hit submit. Takes a couple minutes, and then what will happen next is you should see the placeholder for your host. It'll just say like, oh, welcome to your host or whatever it is. It's pretty basic. I mean, if you just follow along, it's not too difficult to do. And then let's see if it added it. Looks like it's still adding, so we'll have some coffee while we wait. And let's see here. Sometimes it gets a little hung up, so I'm gonna check this just because I'm super impatient. Oh, there we go. So it looks like it's doing something, and it says not secure. That's normal on a new site. It's not going to be secure for a bit. It'll take a minute and it'll propagate. And then when we put WordPress, it should clear itself up. If not, you can run through a little check on your host and it'll do that for you. Now, what we're going to do next, this shows us, hey, the site's ready to go. InMotion knows, hey, this is our site. This is our domain. Next, what we're going to do is I'm just going to go return to domains. You'll see it in here. It just got stuck. Obviously, wait till it's done, but it should be pretty quick. You should be able to see it in your list. Let's see if we see it here. We'll just do a bunch of them. And we should be right down. There it is, right there. So we're ready to go. Okay, as long as you see this and you see it there, you're solid. Next, what we're going to do is we're just going to go back to our WordPress manager, I think it is. One of these. Yeah, right here. And we're going to click on install, and we're going to install our WordPress. So we'll just go through right like this, choose the domain we want it to install on. We're going to choose our wedding one here. Should be right. There we go. It's very important. Don't click the one that is like dot whatever your other domain is, right? Click the one that's just the domain like you bought it. We're going to do HTTPS, and then we're going to go through, make sure this directory is blank, okay? It'll fix itself in a minute, and then we'll go through and choose a site name. So I'll do wedding invitations. You can change this later, but what I like to do is look at what the site used to rank for and try to pick one of the best ones. So I could just go up here and do volume, see what the top one, so winter, cheap wedding invites. So I'm going to do like wedding invitations and invites. I could put the word cheap too, because that does show up. But I mean, winter wedding, that ranked higher than this. So let's see which ones have the best position. Okay, so that one, definitely want to get that one back. So we have invites in there too. So I'm just going to kind of get both of them, and I'm going to do wedding invitations and invites, right like that. Okay, pretty simple. Then we'll do site description. You could pick, your next one over here. Let's say we want our other volume one, cheap wedding invites. I'll just put that in there. Or if you wanted to do winter wedding invitations, we could do that as well. But we're going to have a post for that, so not too worried about it. Next, just keep these off. I don't need that. Admin username, wedding invites, or something like that, invites. All right, and then admin password. You could just choose a password here. It'll do that for you. I am going to select no plugins because oftentimes I don't need these. I can always add them later. If I add them now, it'll just mess things up and slow the site down and everything like that. Next, we're just going to go ahead and hit install. You can look at the advanced options, but you don't really need that. We'll click install. Got to choose an email address. Usually what I'll do is I'll get an email at the site. So I just do admin at whatever the site is, right? So let's see. Wedding. Right like that, okay? And install, there we go. This should install it, and you'll be able to see the progress on your site here, advanced. We're gonna go ahead and, because I know this site's mine, it's okay to see it before it's actually like a secure site, because I'm not submitting anything. Any other website, don't do it. But I know this is mine, so I'm okay. And what we'll see is we'll see the progress here as it goes through. So it says, congratulations, it was installed. So now we can go ahead and log in. We should have the login here. Right, like that. Excellent. So now we have our login. Now we have our website, everything like that. Looking pretty fancy. Hello, welcome to our blog. All right, we could go through and add a theme and everything like that. What I would do is we have a theme we create using our blog theme. Let me see if I can find it here. Blog. It's over at Blog Profit Network. I think I just have it right on the Blog Profit Network page. I don't even think you have to opt in for it. Hey, pretty cool, right? I think it's right down here. So we'll do download the theme, and then we'll do download the plugin. Did we download the plugin or theme? Yeah, theme, and then we'll do the plugin. Now, these are very easy. We're just going to go to plugins, installed, and we're going to click on Add Plugin. These are custom plugins that I designed for me. We use these in-house, but I also have them for you guys as well. So we'll do Add Plugin. Of course, this wants to be slow. Why would it ever be fast when you're trying to do a video, right? Always likes to be slow, but that's good. It forces me to show you everything here. All right, so now we have the theme. So we're going to do the plugin first, install, activate. Okay, this is going to activate Blog Profit Network on your site, and you'll have it down here. This is going to help you run everything, okay? Now, this is a plugin that we provide to all of my students. However, to get the best out of it, you want to use Blog Profit Network. That's where you log in and you get to use the AI tools and everything. I'll show you what I mean in just a minute. Now let's go to Appearance Themes, and we'll go through Add Theme, and let's see here. Upload, and we're just going to choose the BPN theme, and then these work together. So once you have the BPN theme and you activate it, you're going to see it's not going to look like this anymore. It'll actually have our theme, which is going to look like a blank placeholder, logo, blank placeholder, all of that. Okay, now we're ready to go. You could literally go here and be like, okay, BPN setup. This will walk you through the whole thing. So we'll go through, you could do all this, what's your blog about? I'm just going to skip ahead to our general. This is our logo. So we could go through and generate a logo with the AI if we want. Again, this is the Blog Profit Network. So you would just log in with your blog stuff. If not, any logo will work as long as you create it. You're solid, right? So we'll do wedding invites. Okay. Wedding invitations. And then you can put whatever you want, okay? Then you could generate a logo. This makes it pretty easy, and then you could just download the logo and boom, you're ready to go. Or if you wanted to go Canva or whatever, you can do that. That looks pretty cool. I mean, I kind of like that. Let's do wedding invitations. Let's see if we can do more colors, please. That does look pretty solid. I mean, that's a pretty good one. Let's see if we could add some colors to it. And then when we download it, it's important we want to cut it so that it's the size we want to fit. Okay, this is kind of cool. I like it. Let's regenerate. I want it to have wedding invites on it. I'm a little picky about that. Hey, that's nice. I like that. So we'll download that. And then what I would do is just open this in my favorite image editor, open with, and we'll do Snagit. That's the one I like to use. And I'm just going to shrink this down. Zoop, boop. You have to have sound effects. It makes it a lot better. And then see how it says more colors, please? I'll just block that out. Zoop, right there. And then we'll put it there as well. Wedding invitation. There you go. Looks good. File, save as, wedding invitees. All right, save. And then all I got to do is go to upload logo. So I'll just go ahead and upload this in our media. Okay. And it's pretty easy. We'll just go here. Upload. Where's upload? Add media file. There you go. You would think after doing this a bazillion times I'd remember, but sometimes I don't, right? So we'll go ahead and hit this here. And it should create that, so we'll copy the URL. Boom, bing. Go to our spot here, save. Watch, this is super easy. So you just do save, and then that is going to make your logo up there, okay? Now we're gonna fancy it up later, don't worry. Next, we're gonna go through and we'll do the background. And again, the actual generators are part of Blog Profit Network. However, you can do this on your own and just upload the file. You don't have to have it. However, I think you'll see that you will probably want to. Now we'll go through and we'll do a background. Okay, so I could do wedding stuff, invitations, ECT, no text. Okay, so we don't want any text. We just want wedding, florally, stuff like that. Okay, so now we'll go here. And this is all using Gemini API, which is cool. That's nice. Download, go back to our upload here, and then I would just drag and drop, boom. I don't need to crop that because it's already set to go. I'm just gonna get the link. Once it's done, gotta wait, have some coffee. There it is, and copy, and it's just waiting there. We'll put that here, and I'm just gonna show you what I'm doing. So save all settings. That's gonna go through and put the background. See, now we're getting somewhere, pretty cool. Now we're gonna go through, I like to move all this stuff over, all right? And if I was gonna really fancy it, I'd probably make wedding invitation. One, I'd spell it right, because it does have a little, it says wedding. So I would probably fix that, which is pretty easy. I would just go through and fix it here. Wedding invitation, or you can have the AI fix it, but I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. Wedding invitations, right there, boop. Wedding invitations, and then you can change your colors. Let's do like a red, get rid of that, and then maybe have like some kind of nice font or something. And then we can fix that. But you would just upload over top of that. Once we're done, you'd have the image the way you like. Now I'm gonna go through and move it over a little bit. So I'm gonna do sticky header height. What that means is it's sticky, it stays when they scroll. So the height is good. I could probably go 100 if I want. That'll make our logo a little bit bigger. So you'll see there, boop, there you go. Makes it a little bit better. I kind of liked it better at 60, so we'll go back to 60. A lot of this is just kind of messing around with it, see how you like it. But this plugin's like, it's like one of those modular furniture things where you just like, boop, everything fits together in a very simple way, and it's very easy to set up, right? So there we have that. I'm gonna push it over a little bit. We're gonna do that by going to, I think it's under General, and we're gonna add header logo alignment. I'm gonna do plus 100. See what that looks like, and it should look good on mobile as well. This is designed to be mobile fancy, a little bit more, maybe 125. Okay, menu general, 125, 125, save, boop, right like that. I'm gonna move that over so we can reload it. That's good. So there we have that. Looks pretty solid. And then we can move our menu over a little bit. On the menu, I made it to where you have full control of what you want in the menu, because like sometimes we don't need services or blog. Maybe home, contact, about us is enough. Horizontal alignment, this is where you're gonna go through. See, this will change the actual menu, then the alignment, we wanna push it over to the other side there. Now, on mobile, I do not include the menu. There's a reason for that. If you want it, we could put it in the bottom. I'll show you that in a minute. Let's go ahead and do 300 on this because I think that's gonna take a bit more. Maybe even more, maybe like 600. Let's see, menu, 600, save. Yep, did that do it? It must be 500 or less. Okay, 500, save. Okay, yeah, 500 is a bit much. So we probably do like 400, I think. Let's do menu, 400, save. Okay, that should do the trick. There we go, that's good. You could probably do 450 if you wanted to be completely picky about it, which I am, so I'm gonna do that. Save, and boom. Nice, looks good. Okay, so there's our main shell of our website, looking pretty solid. We're not really set up there yet. You would go through the checklist and see how it works, and there's lots of videos and setup things and tools and stuff in there. Again, the only time you actually have to like use the tool with the paid version is if you're using AI to generate stuff. Okay, that's the only time. Other than that, all of this stuff that you've seen, other than the AI parts, when it opens Blog Profit Network, that's the only part that is different, okay? Next, we're gonna go through and we're gonna do settings. Okay, this is your permalink settings, so we'll do title and slogan. That we already did. We'll do the settings permalink. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use custom structure, and I think I need to do, because this is the complicated one, I think I need to do category and then post name, because it had, when we looked at the URLs as per Manus, it had a lot of like, see how it's got B/ and then that would be the structure. Now, I do notice a lot of them have HTML, so I could probably go through and add the HTML tag to them, right, like this. I believe that's how it works. We'll test it and see. So we'll do like that. Post, this should have HTML, and it does. We would want to get rid of that slash. Let's see if that does it. We go right here. And it's very important that these are exact. That's what we want to do. So we'll do, get rid of that slash. Think that'll work. Save, post, view, .html. Boom, perfect. That is the money right there. That's what we want. All right, so now we have the shell set up, which is good. Next, what we would want to do is add all of the links and the structures and everything like that. This is where we're going to go through with Manus and ChatGPT and everything and try to build that link structure the way that it was. So if they had like 100 links, we should have 100 links. If theirs is HTML, we should have HTML. And trying to build it based on what it was is key. Now, using Manus, what I did is I just had it make this gigantic list, which is cool. I could go through and say, now just give me the ones ending in HTML. All right, that'll give me just the ones in HTML. Now what I did, I actually went through, I have not tested this yet, so we're gonna try it here. I went through and created a plugin with Claude that supposedly is going to make all these posts for me, not the content, but the post. So it'll make the structure, then we can go through and add the content later. Let's see if it works. Okay, well, we didn't get an error yet. Let's see where that one is. URL importer, okay. Paste your URLs below one per line. Content post, content format HTML, preserve all, that's what we want. Choose how to extract content. Okay, I don't know if we want to extract it. Remove the domain to match WordPress permalink example. No, we don't want that. So let's see what let's just see what it does. We'll get some of these links here. We'll try it on like a couple. And I want to see if it actually works, because if it doesn't fetch the info, that's fine. I don't really want the info. Okay, so it's not doing that. Let's see if we can get another version. What I'm doing is I'm just making this plugin here over here. Now make it so it just makes the posts blank based on the URL. No need to fetch content. And if you don't know what I'm doing here, don't worry. I'm just making a simple plugin. These are actually really cool. This is what I said back when ChatGPT first came out. I was like, dude, you could use this to make plugins. And I have, and I've made a lot of money doing that. Some people didn't listen, some did. But now it seems that vibe coding is one of the big things that AI is about. Back then, everyone thought it was just, oh, we could make a cute little poem or a whatever. I was using it to do programming way back then, and it was actually very, very cool. It's actually very good at programming. And when you think about the fact that it understands like a computer, that's where like, okay, we can use Manus to find links. We can use Manus to make a plugin or make a full website if we wanted. I could literally go to Manus if I didn't want to use WordPress and say, now build this site. Now it might take a while, but it'll do this in a really, really cool way, okay? So let's see how that plugin's coming along. We had in, where did our Claude go? There he is. All right, so we'll go like this. And it should create that plugin for us. Sometimes it takes a minute. There we go, replacing the entire plugin class. So what I would do in this instance is I go through into my plugins. I would take that plugin, which is the content importer, deactivate, and then I think I can delete it. Yeah, we'll just delete it right like that. And then we're going to upload the new one. Now, just a side note, I would test your plugin on a website you don't care about because sometimes they can screw things up. It is risky to take a plugin just straight from AI and throw it up. If I'm building plugins, I like to have my programmers go through, make sure they're secure, make sure there's no junk or anything like that. Very important. So now we're going through, it's replacing the plugin. Have some more coffee. There we go. And we'll build this thing out. And if you guys are digging this series, smash that like button because we're going to build this thing out and turn it into a business. Again, remembering, okay, are you going to, do this in one day and make a ton of money? Of course not. This is a business. This might take a while to get going. There's a lot of moving parts here. This thing's got a lot of different URLs. Now, the AI one, a little bit easier. I think that's going to be an easier one to go through. Setting that thing up will be pretty quick and pretty painless. Now, again, is it going to make money out of the gate? We have no idea. Probably not. It's probably going to take a while to build it up and get it going. But what we're going to do is we're going to deliberately make these work. We're not going to sit around and wait for a ranking. We're not going to sit around and hope that it works. We're going to promote it like we mean it. On this one here, I could do like Etsy, I could do Pinterest. There's all kinds of avenues when we look at this as a business rather than just like, oh, I hope this blog works. These are meant to be built as businesses. And the idea behind getting the domain is now I have something to start with, something that'll work, something I can grow with, and that is the key. So let's go ahead and see how this is working. And it's going, looks like it's doing line by line there. And once it's done, it should just give us the straight zip file just like this, hopefully. And hopefully it'll work out of the gate like the other one, which it did actually work. It just, we don't want it to fetch content because this isn't really a content fetcher. It's just a structure setter-upper, if that's the right place. Now, while we're waiting for that, I'm also going to go through and do settings, and I'm going to do reading, and I'm going to choose static page, sample, because that's the only one, and I'm going to hit save. What that does is it makes our home page the sample page, and then all of our other stuff's going to be behind it, which is cool, okay? So now we're going through, and it looks like it's almost done. Let's have some more coffee here. Looks like it's going to be a pretty big coffee day. So we'll go, there we go. All right, so now it's creating our plugin lightning fast. Okay, cool. Perfect for, it's giving us the overview. That's the README file. And then it should make a zip file too. And it's pretty cool because you can make plugins for whatever you want. This is solid. And it's specific to HTML, which is good because that's what this site's about. And it's going and going and going. And we wait. Apparently take a nap. But that's okay. It used to take a long time to do this stuff. Now it's not too bad. And you'll see that you could do this on basically any domain you want. Okay, go, 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 go. Is it migrating the posts? I hope not. Paste all URLs, post pending review, preview, create all posts. Okay, it should work. Well, let's hope. Auto-generated from URL. Nice. Okay, so it is going to make the title. That's pretty cool. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, now it's going. Didn't create README. It is creating the plugin, though. There it goes. And just a side note, this is something that I do on tons and tons of domains. We've done this on thousands of domains, and they usually get picked up pretty quick because you're literally like just starting with something that you know worked. So boom, there you go, you're ready. So let's see here. It looks like it's hung up on that README file. Okay, while we're waiting on that, let's see if the structure actually works. So we'll do like a post, that's the hello world, view, uncategorized. So it would need to actually create categories for each one. Again, this is why this one would be like a more complicated one. because if we went through and looked at our categories, okay, the category here, that one's that one's okay. It should import them all for us. And what will happen is when you're done, you should be able to click these, and if they work, you did it right. If they don't work, you did it wrong. So we're going to go through and do that. Now, the structure is super important. While we're waiting on the plugin, I'm going to show you what the structure looks like for this outsource one. You can see it was actually a business, so refund policy, key benefits of hiring a virtual assistant in India, outsource, they had a LinkedIn page, all of that. And then you could see here's the complete list of historical pages. This one's super easy. Like this one would literally take nothing because all you're doing is making this. There's like 2 categories which don't even matter. And then, we could go through and build all this other stuff. These are the important ones because these are the ones that ranked. So very important there. And again, the structure, see how there's no categories there? This one's going to be super easy, whereas the other is going to take a plugin and take a while. But again, it was a bigger business. This one's going to be a lot easier and smaller. Which one do I think would get to earning faster? I think the outsource one will, because it's just that much easier. And we could promote it. So very simple. Now with the plugin, we can see it's still going. While this is going, let's go ahead and set the outsource one up. Let's go here, we'll go to DNS, and we'll show you what this looks like on this one as well. So we'll just change the name servers. I'll use my own. Again, you're going to use your host. Right, like this, boom. And whatever your host gives you, if you're using gohubsite.com for your hosting setup, it'll show you how to get the name servers there. So we'll do that, and then we should be able to go to the site. It should propagate instantly or pretty quickly. We might need to wait a minute. Let's see if we need to wait a minute. Should be pretty quick though. Let's see. Right here. There we go. So there, now it's doing that. Again, we'll just go back to our host over there. And I think, is it? Okay. Got back on that one. Let's go here. It should be pretty quick. Let's try it again. And even if you don't see it propagate right away, let's try sometimes a different browser will work. Just because I'm completely impatient and like to set these up quickly. We'll just go like this. Because sometimes it caches in your browser. So it looks like, there we go, good. So it is working there, which is funny because it's working by not working, right? So there we go. Next, what we would do is we just go back to our host, which is right here, and you just go to your cPanel, wherever we had our cPanel over here. I think it was, let's see. Here we go. So our cPanel will go right like this, and we'll just do the same thing. Domains, add domain, boom. Put your domain in there. Obviously, you don't want any wwws or HTTPs or anything like that. Submit. That'll put it on the server, and then you just go back to the WordPress part, and you would do install, return to WordPress management, and then we could just do a new install. Again, same process. On this one, we'll choose, let's see, what was it? Outsource, go down to the O's. I saw it there a second ago. There it is, right? So we'll just go ahead and install that, HTTPS, and then again, pick your top keyword for that one. So you do the outsource one. Let's do virtual assistant. Let's just do, it's got a good amount with it. Offshore website development, offshore virtual assistant, outsourcing, or something like that. So I just do outsource, offshore virtual assistant outsourcing, right, like that. Admin username, just pick your admin. Password, I usually just have it generate one. Email, you could do Marcus at like that, and install. That'll get that going, and then our link structure on this one's going to be super, super easy. You could usually do it. Let's see. I think I did the wrong one. There we go. I have a similar domain to it. Okay, there we go. There we go. And no plugins. Got our title looking good. Install. So that should do the trick, and then we'll be able to set up that link structure. And I'll just show you really quickly what that looks like while we're waiting on our plugin. So let's download that. We can test out our plugin here. Let's go plugins, add. And again, over at AIProfitScoop.com, we are going through this whole thing detailed with a bunch of people as part of our 7-day blog challenge there. So let's see, I think it's this one. Yeah, number 1. Install, activate, and we should be able to take this big list, URL importer, and take the big list. Let's just get a snippet. I'm not going to try to do all of them. We'll just get a snapshot of them like this. And let's see if it does the trick. I think it might get hung up on the fact that there's no category on these, but let's see if it does it. So content type posts, post status. Let's just go ahead and publish them. Domain from path, remove domain to match WordPress permalink. Let's see what it does. Preview. Okay, ribbon layered. So let's see. It did get the slug correctly. That's pretty cool. So this will do create all post. And again, we are not putting any content in yet. We'll do that after, which is why I think the outsource one's going to get to profit a lot quicker than this one. However, this is a good one. I can have an outsourcer go through 1,000 posts. You could probably do that in like a month. That's what, 30 a day? And they're pretty simple, like rainbow wedding invitation. That's not too big of a deal. So now let's see if it made them. Because if it did, if this actually goes to a post, I'm going to be happy. Okay, it did have an error. Let's see why. Uncategorized. So it is working. We just need to fix that uncategorized thing. A little bit of a fix-up. Now, I will tell you, full disclosure, out of every 100 domains I buy, 5 are like this at the most. Usually I don't get these complicated ones, so that's going to take a while. If we were to do this on our other one, all right, watch. If we were to go to outsource profit, the outsource one here, let's see if we can log in. Okay, so let's go log in. Boom, it should log you in automatically. This one's going to be a heck of a lot easier. And again, I could go through and I could do this on the fancy it up with the plugin and the logo and everything like that, which we'll do. We'll show you all of this. It'll all be over there at AIProfitScoop.com. I'll have notes, keywords, all kinds of crazy stuff there so that you could follow along, which is cool. That's what this is about. So now we'll go through and dashboard. I'm just going to show you the permalink structure because that's the important thing in day one. Like we can always fix our logos and our themes. What we want is that permalink structure. So we'll go to settings. And again, this will be in the BPN plugin, which I'll have at AI Profit Scoop for you. Okay, all those things will be there you can check out. So now we could go through, we'll do our permalink structure. We're going to choose post name because this one had very clean structure. Watch how easy this is. We can add the plugin and it'll do this really quick. So we'll do plugins, add plugin, and we'll add that same plugin. And we should be able to just add all of them. Let's get Manus. Okay, so we'll do like this. I think I can just list the URLs. We'll just go to ChatGPT. Strip out URLs only. Boom, there we go. It should do it. And then we can put it in that plugin. Activate. And then what we want is we want all of it to work the way it did. Okay, there we go. So now we're installed, URL importer. You can see here, ChatGPT, did you get our URLs? You did. Excellent. Now there's actually quite a few. I'm just going to take the ones that don't have the question mark, because whenever there's a question mark, that's kind of like an appendage. We don't need that one. So let's go ahead and get all the ones that don't have categories. So write this, and then we'll go in here. Boop. Let's do posts, published, strip domain, yes. Create titles, yes. Preview. Links are perfect. Titles are good. Boom. I could give this to an outsourcer, or I could now start building this thing on my own. And if all worked correctly, I should be able to go here, click top pages, and if I click this, it should have a post. Ta-da! It did. There we go. And it looks like it did create them, which is good. So we're ready to go. A little bit of tweaking, but you'll see that's how we do it. We want them to match what the site had before. So this is day one. We're getting the structure of our domain. If you didn't see day 0 or starting day, check the video in the description. All of them will be posted at AIProfitScoop.com. So if you're on an email list over there, you'll get all the emails with all of the follow-ups. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. I know it was long. This is the key, is getting that structure set up. And then what we would do is start building content, getting that deep dive, setting up the shell, and making it work. Again, there are little errors and tweaks that we need to do. Like you could go through and see what these look like. If I go into posts, they should be there. And we can see what the permalinks look like, see if they did work exactly, and everything like that. So going through, that's what we want to do. We want to make it work and build the shell up so that we have a starting point, start to see the rankings pick back up, start to build up the business, do a really good job of making content, and turn this into something that we can actually make money with. That's the goal. Smash the like button, check out the videos in the description, and make sure you're subscribed. And you can check this out at AIProfitScoop.com with all the links, and I'll see you in the next training.